Hey y'all, this is Sherelle Martin with Nitram Financial Solutions, where we do bookkeeping without boundaries. So today I wanted to talk to you a little bit about payroll. So internally, we no longer process payroll, but we do support clients in some of their payroll processes, tasks, efforts. Usually it's mostly around the compliance piece of it, is how we support them. But something that comes up a lot as part of that is setting up payroll accounts in different jurisdictions. So what happens is typically when a business gets started, they have employees where they work. And so they set up payroll accounts for the state where their business is located so that they can do withholding and or unemployment in that state. In a lot of states, there are reciprocity agreements, which means that you can live in one state and work in another state, but that employer can have withholding for the state where you live instead of the state where you worked. And those agreements and the setup of that has grown a lot since COVID because more and more people are working from home. And so, but what happens a lot is that business owners will hire a new employee and not set up the accounts. And then they start getting notices or notifications from the payroll company that they need to set up accounts in time to file their returns and make their tax payments. So happens, I would say 100% of the time it happens where the business owner will hire the employee and not set up the accounts. And then we have to come in and assist with the compliance part of it to get things set up. Sometimes the client has us set them up. Sometimes we just send them instructions. We always send them instructions. Let me correct myself. We always send them instructions on how to set up. Sometimes they set it up on their own. Sometimes they hire us to set it up. And sometimes we use a third party company to help get it all set up. It really just depends and varies depending on the situation and the timeliness of when it needs to happen, or when it needs to happen, when it's identified. But 100% of the time, a business owner will hire an employee and then not set up their stuff in time. And so part of our job as a bookkeeper is that we help them make sure that they stay compliant. And so what I would like to recommend is that when you're doing the bookkeeping and you're having conversations with business owners, discussing people processing payroll, find a way to bring into the conversation about their future expected goals, current goals, things that are happening, such as, hey, I hired a new person. And so a lot of times they'll volunteer that part, right? They'll say, hey, we brought on a new person. Or if you're connected to the payroll software, you'll get a notification that a new employee has been added to the system. So what our process is to kind of be proactive is once we get that notification, because we're in the payroll system as an accountant, we go in and we send the instructions to the business owner and let them know, like, hey, we need to get this account set up beforehand. Before this, we need to get these accounts set up so that you can file taxes and payroll returns on time. So the process is, once you receive the notification that the person has onboarded, typically if they're using an online payroll system, right, their person is self-onboarding themselves, putting in all their information. Then you go in and verify their work location so you can determine which states they need to have their payroll filings done in. And then help keep the client or business owner in compliance with making sure that those happen and that they happen in enough time so that they can get the numbers back. Because some states you go online, fill out the paperwork, you have to register yourself as a new business in that state, and you can get the number right away. Some states it takes a few weeks, some states it takes months. So you want to make sure that you help them be in compliant by getting that information up front and before they actually need the number. Again, it happens 100% of the time. Someone will hire a new employee in a new state and not do anything about setting up their business in that state. And so a part of what, again, your tasks are is, one, make sure that when you receive the notification that the person has filled out their paperwork correctly as far as where they will work. Because now that more and more people are working remotely, they are working from home. They do have to set up state registration in those states that person is working from home. 2, stay in contact with the business owner to make sure that the paperwork gets filed timely, and provide assistance wherever you can to ensure that all the questions get answered correctly. and that the return gets filed in time. 3, follow up with them as to when they received the number. Did they receive the number? If a lot of time has passed, if they hired a new person in January and it's like March 15th and we still don't have a number, now we have to reach out and find out where this application is in the queue to make sure that we get the number into the payroll system in time. Because there are some payroll companies who, certain states, they won't allow the business owner to continue processing payments past the point of the return being due if they can't file the return on time. So we want to make sure that that doesn't happen, so that, because they got to pay their people, right? And so making sure that you help them stay, making sure that you are working with them to make sure that they get the numbers and they get the numbers into the system in time. The numbers meaning the account numbers that they are given from the state jurisdictions. I know I keep saying numbers and we're all talking about numbers, so I need to make sure I clarify exactly what I mean. So we're talking specifically about the account numbers that they're given from these different states and jurisdictions. The thing, and 4, make sure to educate the business owner so that they know what is happening and why, right? So the law states in most that wherever the employee works, that is the state where unemployment taxes need to be paid by the business owner. So if the business is set up in DC and the person lives in Maryland, but they're working from home, guess what? They have to set up unemployment accounts for Maryland because that's where the person is working, physically working. They also have to set up withholding for the state where the person lives so that the person has to file their income tax returns. They can file for those states as well. So these are some things that need to happen from a payroll perspective. We don't do a lot of payroll again, but I wanted to make sure that that was something that you guys knew, because this is something, like I said, happens 100% of the time. So that's your tip for this week. I know we took a couple weeks off. We're working on our program to get it launched by April 16th. So if you have not signed up to receive notifications for Rock the Books Online, please do so. If you like this video, subscribe and share. I will see you guys next week. Take care.